Hi everybody, this is Melanie from Screen Time with Mel, and right now I'm going to talk about The Handmaid's Tale Season 5, Episode 3. So let's get started. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me here today. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you are returning, again, thank you so much. I am so glad that we are having this discussion and having this conversation, and I get so excited about it. If you are new to my channel, please don't hesitate to join in the discussion down below. I love to hear from you, and let me know what you think. Let me know if I should be covering a piece that I'm not covering, like either a piece of an episode, like things that I may be missing, or things that you thought were interesting that I didn't even touch upon. So make sure you put that down below. Or if you disagree with something I say, don't hesitate to let me know. I love to hear. I love to have a good debate. So as long as you're respectful, always stay respectful, and I would love to have that good debate. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. All right, so we're talking about just after the aftermath, where June saw her baby girl Hannah with Serena at Fred's funeral. Trying to keep all the names straight. I am not the best at that. Anyway, so it's the direct aftermath. So it is and I don't know why I can't ever remember his name, but it's June, Moira, and June's husband, and they're continuing to watch the coverage on the television, or I don't know if they're necessarily doing that or just sitting on a couch and just kind of staring off into space in shock and terror. And they're talking about what happened. Well, it starts off with just June and her husband, and then Moira comes rushing in. But they're talking about what they saw, and Serena's just the audacity of Serena. I'm telling you what, June and Serena feel like they're the same woman. It's like the two women on opposite sides of the same exact freaking coin. It's just they both got some balls on them. Anyway, So the one thing that June pointed out is that Hannah was wearing a different color. She's now wearing purple. And what did that mean? And colors are significant in Gilead. The women wear that teal color. The commanders all wear black. They're black suits. Of course, the handmaids all wear red. And I believe the Lydias, the aunts, the ones that teach the handmaids, they wear brown. And then children wear pink. At least young girls wear pink. So what does purple mean? And that becomes more significant as we get later into the episode. I think that was good. It was decent acting, dramatic, of course. It's not a scene that necessarily stood out to me, but it was a very good scene, and it brought up some really good, interesting points. And then they go on to talk about, there's some people by the border that can get June in connection with Nick. So we'll see how that goes. And then we move over to Serena in the aftermath, and talking to Mark Tuello. Nothing. I mean, there's good information there. I won't go beat by beat on that. The next thing that of note that I wanted to talk about, that dinner party. And I'm sorry, if I'm looking off this way, I'm looking at I have my screen up where I can kind of see the scenes as they go across. Anyway, that dinner party. Was that a loaded dinner party or what? So they start off the dinner party saying that, and by the way, Mackenzie, the father of Hannah, the adoptive father of Hannah, whatever you want to call it, wow, I think he's going to be a monster. He is taking over power, where Commander Lawrence and Commander Waterford, he's going into that void, and he's seizing control, and I think he's going to be a pretty scary adversary come soon. If by the end of the season, maybe he starts to rear up as the big ugly. Anyway, them telling Commander Lawrence, there is no room in the high command for men without wives. What? That was not even veiled. That straight up said, if you don't take another wife, you will be removed from the high command. Bam. What? And then Serena, of course, hears that and sees a shoe-in there. Hey, we can marry for power. I think we'd get along great. Maybe. I think she's a little bit too conniving for him. And I think he sees that. It's like a snake in the grass. I think he sees that. But anyway, there's more about that as we go along. But that dinner, and then when Nick stops to talk to Mark, and the other commander comes up and is like, "Oh, you guys had a lot to say," and Nick is like, "No, just saying hi." Yeah, that was loaded. Wow. Okay, now we're coming into my favorite scene of this particular episode. And we're talking about Aunt Lydia. Oh my gosh, the raw emotion and how well she portrayed it. I mean, she didn't even have to have tears coming down her eyes. So when she first visited the other girl, and I can't remember her name, but the one who actually did the poisoning, when she first visited her, and slapped her, and the anger in that. Well done, but that is not my favorite part of the scene. Now Lydia, that is in this next episode. What is her name? I had it up here. Here it is. Ann Dowd. Okay, when she goes in to see Janine, what an amazing raw performance. Look, she didn't even have to have tears like glistening her face for me to know that she was in so much pain and felt so guilty about what happened to Janine. The repeating of phrases, and when you're in that much grief and are pleading and begging for a change, you do that. You repeat things. You don't realize what you're like. I say this part of the phrase, but I'm so emotionally raw, I have to gasp for breath, and then I have to say this phrase again. And just it was her portrayal of that was just absolutely mind-blowing. Wow. She deserves an Emmy for that, because that was amazing, her acting in that particular scene. And maybe I'm just a sucker for a good dramatic scene showing of emotion like that I honestly, I can't eat. Amazing, just amazing. So the next little beat, June meets the people at the border, and she comes to find out that they're part of Mayday. And I love this little bit. At first, for a minute there, I was thinking that June made up Mayday, and then it became all this huge thing, but it wasn't. This was, and I remember now that June found out about Mayday from the Marthas and other, that's another color. I think they're gray, or like a sage green. Anyway, from the Marthas and other handmaids. So, but yeah, she found out from there, and then they thought it was all just a fairy tale, something that was made up so that they could have hope, and come to find out it's real and it's worldwide. And I think that was pretty amazing. And then the line that the girl said, "Well, June, you are a Mayday too." After June said, "I thought you were a fantasy," then that girl turns around and says, "Well, then June, you were a Mayday too." As in, she thought June was a fantasy and not real. So, wow. So nice little tidbit there. I like that. Still not as strong as the Aunt Lydia scene. There's other few things like the Commander Putnam's wife Mrs. Putnam brings her daughter to come see Janine. And then Janine all of a sudden wakes up, but they really didn't go further into that. I did like seeing Miss Putnam come and bring the daughter and say that Janine was a blessing, with as much as she went through with Janine, that she did find her to be a blessing. All right, and then the last two little bits here that I'll talk about. One, the phone call between Nick and June. Okay, so on this one, it felt like goodbye. Like goodbye. I'm not going to go through the whole conversation, but he did tell June about his wife, Rose. Told her that she'd like her and everything. June did ask a favor, but because of him married, he couldn't do that. Take care of the favor. I thought that was a very poignant bit at the end when they finally said, because he basically told her he can't talk to her anymore. He can't do it anymore. And you can understand it's a huge risk for him, especially now that he's become a commander. And honestly, if he wants change in that country, the only way he's going to affect change is to get into leadership. That ties your hands a little bit too. So we'll see how that goes. And then the other little bit was the judgment that the high commanders had on Serena. They decided that as they put it, she was a unique woman. And there is no place in Gilead for unique women. Or special women. I forget what they call it. But basically, she's a little bit too independent. Let's just say that. So they have decided to send her back to Canada. And she's now going to be an unofficial global ambassador for Gilead. To represent Gilead. Of course, she made her own demands. And they're all coming for it. They're all ready for it. She needs rent. She needs a staff. She needs this. She needs that. And they're going to take care of her and do that. I think they will. We'll see how that goes. But I thought that was interesting that they see that she could light a fire under the other wives' butts to make change within the system. And they can't, because of the public funeral, they can't cast her out or make her a handmaid because she's too public now. So they're going to use her publicity but kick her out of the country. So we'll see how that goes. That'll be interesting to see how that folds, how that comes out. I still don't understand. And she still has her sycophants in Canada. I honestly, I don't get it. I don't get it. I guess there's some comfort in knowing your place and knowing the roles that you are supposed to play. And some people find that attractive. I don't think I could. But I've seen women do it. So, and they do it time and time again. So who knows? I've always found that very, very interesting. Then, and then when they ended with another pivotal moment, and that's June just pounding on the car window and like, you do not touch my daughter again. And you know you're going to get into the next couple of episodes and June's going to be going to find her because she does not want her daughter, Hannah, to become a wife. Because wives have only that much more freedom or that much more rights than the handmaids. The only difference is they aren't getting raped by unknown men, but they could easily be getting raped by their husbands. So who knows? And they don't have a leg to stand on. So who knows? I guess you readers know. I've never read it. So we'll see how that plays out. Yeah, I do predict that, what is it, Mackenzie is his name? Anyway, Hannah's father. I predict that he becomes the big bad. Either they're going to set him up at the end of the season, he's the big bad for the next upcoming season, or he's going to become the big bad in the next couple of episodes, and then that arc's going to play out. I think that, I don't know how that, I think it's going to be closer to the end of the season. And really, I don't think this is the last season of Handmaid's Tale. I should probably look that up. I don't know that it's been announced that way. So anyway, so this particular episode, I did enjoy it. I am finding myself it's a little bit harder for me to pull myself out of watching some other things to come and watch Handmaid's Tale. But once I start watching it, I really get into it and really enjoy it. So I do find that this episode was pretty good. I have found other episodes, especially when she's been in Gilead, to be the season to be much more compelling. It may be that this season becomes more compelling as time goes on. And Handmaid's Tale's never been boom, 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 quick, quick, quick. It's been, you know, you've got this thing happening, and it's a little bit, I wouldn't call it a slow burn, but it's definitely slower than some of the stuff that I'm used to. So anyway, that's what I was thinking. So far I've liked it. I've liked this series, this season, and I will continue to watch it. What did you guys think of this episode, and what are you thinking of the season so far? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear from you. And if while you're down there, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see other ones like it, then hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell so that you're reminded each time I come out with a brand new video. And don't forget that thumbs up. I really, really appreciate it. Again, join in the conversation down below. Let me know what you think. Let me know anything that I should have brought up and I didn't. And so on and so forth. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys have an amazing day. Bye-bye.